All right, Shalom Akim starts the lesson. I do want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Kakadash, that one of our apostles out of the great millstone that taught us his truth. Peace and blessings to the sincere Akims pushing his truth in all truth and sincerity around the four corners of the earth and to be. Tiwashi Shalom. Okay, I'm the brother Yara Ariyar from that great millstone Miami camp. And come back to the spirit power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to make another quick hit. Okay, the title lesson is going to be "We Are Not Too Far from the MOTB." All right, this article was, sent in our group chat. I see about a few days ago, and it caught my attention once I saw the article drop in the chat. Okay, which prompted me to either make a lesson on it, but reading what the article says, it says RFID chips implanted in Mexican law enforcement workers. Mind you, this is by David Gardner. Right, it says Marcino went on to say that 160 of his employees have been implanted with a rice grain sized chip manufactured by Bird Chips Corp of Delaware, Florida. Now, showing you, the chip is not too far fetched, okay, away from, being mainstream, brought to your mainstream attention, okay, the mainstream media. Okay, and it says, in addition, vulture suspects, many are being tested in humans for military and governmental intelligence applications. We can't talk about some applications she said, but these devils not gonna really, release the whole cat in the bag as of yet. But all right, we are not too far away from the MOTB, seeing what they're doing with these digital currencies, how they pushing these that digital currency so heavy on the people. All right, we are not too far away from that digital society. Okay, these devils already want to move forward with the digital society. Okay, so don't count it strange that you find more articles like this or things like this pop up on your media because these are things that were told to us by how about Shine. The scriptures say that not to not be ignorant of Satan's devices. Okay, so we're not gonna be ignorant of these little test trials or these articles that we see and just sweep it under the rug. No, okay, these little articles are going to put thoughts in our minds to make lessons or to filter that through the scriptures. Okay, seeing at the times that we in, okay, that our salvation draweth nigh. All right, showing you how we are at the end of this devil's rulership. Okay, us being at the end of this devil's rulership, he's going to try everything in his power to try to accomplish his NWO, his New World Order. Okay, and these little articles, man. Of course, they're not being brought to mainstream media because they are being swept under the rug because this is all part of Esau's plan. Okay, if he were to bring that article into the mainstream media, people would genuinely freak out. All right, but what this devil does, he works with gradualism. Okay, so over time, these little articles are going to start popping up more and more and more. Okay, and people are just going to start passing on the passing because that's how the devil deals with it, man. He deals with gradualism. Okay, so soon, sooner or later, okay, this devil is, just gonna go all out with this MOTB, man. All right, but as you can see that people are in. There's certain people that already have the chip inside of them, man, and seeing how spiritual the article has said, references that chip. Because our elders and apostles been seeing that the MOT chip is about the size of a grain of rice. Okay, and in this article that we just read, all right, it clearly shows and it clearly depicts That same MOTB is is depicted as so small as a grain of rice. Okay, so it's not far fetched from what our elders and apostles been telling us, man. All right, and the scriptures tell us not to take that MOTB, man. Okay, and if you do, there is a judgment for taking the MOTB. And it says Revelation 13 and verse 5 or 16, it says that he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor. Okay, so this devil is going to cause all, both small and great, okay, both rich and poor. Okay, from from the littlest of of the people on the earth, to the greatest. Okay, from the richest to the poorest, man. Even even the poorest of the poor are gonna have to have that decision and placed in front of them, man. And they're gonna have to make a choice of whether they're gonna take that chip or not. Okay, and it says free and bond. Okay, whether you are free, okay, or you bonded in jail, man. All right, because you still gonna come to saying if you take the MOTB, okay, we are gonna give you a lesser sentence or free from a sentence. That's how the devil is going to work when he tries to usher in that MO, that new world order, okay, and push in that MOTB. He's gonna make it sound like it's the best of both worlds. Okay, look what he did in 2020 with that with that vaccine. All right, he made it sound like it was the best thing for you. Okay, if you take your booster shots, if you do this, that, and the third, the whole time, all right, these were the things that will make you even more sick and even more ill. And they were proving that they did not heal you. Okay, people that lost their job for it, are not getting back pay for them, losing their jobs. So 2020 with that pandemic was a test run to see how people will react under pressure. Okay, and a lot of people folded, man. A lot of people folded when Esau came down. Okay, with that mandate. So now Esau knows that okay, the next time he comes down with a mandate of that sort, a lot of people are going to buck up and take that, man. Okay, if you're not spiritual, all right, mainly, when I say spiritual, meaning dealing with Yahweh Shema Shai, you are going to fold under that pressure. Okay, when you haven't eaten or you trying to go down to Esau for help, you are going to be confounded because this devil is going to truly show his horns, man. Okay, he's going to truly show the people who he really is. Okay, and it says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that's right, man. And look how the devil was playing it out too. Okay, this whole situation with the Whole Foods. Okay, he done had it to where, all right, at Whole Foods, to pay, you would have had to wand over the pay thing. What is this conditioning your mind to do? All right, that's conditioning your mind to use your hand as a form of payment, and with that hand, what is going to be inside your hand? That seed, man. That chip. Okay, that chip is going to be inside your hand. That's why he's slowly but surely dealing with gradualism. Like I said previously. Okay, he's surely getting the minds of the people to get accumulated with that that way of comfortability, man. Okay, he's making it so comfortable for you to pay. Okay, you just thinking, yeah, it's just an easy way to pay. Okay, no, but at Whole Foods, but what is what is that condition in your mind now when you go somewhere else, you're gonna wish that they had that wand over pay. Okay, that you just put your hand over the thing and then you pay. Okay, and then when this chip comes, you automatically gonna take it because you gonna think, oh yeah, it's gonna have my data on it, my cards. I'm not gonna be I don't gotta pull out my card to pay. All right. I understand how this devil works, man. He's the serpent that the scriptures teach. The scripture speaks of scripture references devil to that old serpent from the garden. Okay, reason being because the ways of this devil. Okay, he acts as a serpent slithering through the snakes. All right, slithering, they moving so smoothly. Okay, and it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. Okay, or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, so he's gonna make it, able, he's gonna make it to a point where you are not gonna be able to buy nor sell if without that C hit, man. Okay, he's not gonna, he's gonna present it to you where there's not gonna be no other form of payment or no other form of you paying, okay, without that C hit, man. And we know that there is a judgment for taking that, taking that C hit, and it says it in Revelation 14 and verse 9, and it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured without mixture into a cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of his holy angels in the presence of the Lamb. Okay, so if you take that MOTB, if you take that C hip, you are going to be pelleted with nukes, with those nuclear warheads that they scripture speak about. Okay, that's that fire, before the angels and before the Lamb. Okay, that that you are gonna partake of if you take that mark, man. Okay, so the title of the lesson is gonna be, the MOTB is not too far away, man. We are literally almost there, man. Okay, so Logan's lesson is edified with that. I do want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Shai, by Hashem, the one star apostles and elders, Wilson that taught us his truth. Peace and blessing to the sincere outcomes with that. I want to say.